Hey there, I'm Christine from What's Up Cupcake Whimsical Crafts, and welcome to my channel. Y'all, I'm so excited by what I have to share with you for my upcoming market this weekend. There are a couple things that I have been working on behind the scenes that I wasn't sure how they were going to come to fruition, but they're coming together and they are going to be so much fun. I think that it's just going to be a really kind of unique set of things to draw people into my booth. I've been wanting to concentrate on having some more options on the lower dollar price range. A few of my makes recently have been fairly large, and I do I feel like I have a good chunk of items that are like $25 to $40. And those are great, and there is a market for that. But I want to have more smaller items to make it more accessible for people, especially now. I just think it's a great addition to have. Also, apologies, my one finger. I need to get my nails done, and I just need to take off the dip, and I cannot take it off by myself. I don't know how people do that on their own, but I haven't had time to go get that done. So I have one nail that just will probably keep appearing in every photo that I see or take until I can get this done. And that is my incentive to do that. But anyways, um, so one of the things that I'm excited about, I think is going to just pair really well with my market that I have this weekend. This weekend, I have a market at the North Carolina Museum of Art. It is a beautiful space in North Carolina, close to NC State University. It has a couple of like primary buildings with the indoor exhibits, but then it has a huge campus outside that has sculptures that are interactive, that you can just observe, but mostly things that you can kind of like play and run around with, kids and adults alike. It's really neat. Um, Lots of trails throughout the campus too. When I used to run, I would run over there a lot. It's very hilly, but it's a beautiful campus. And Triangle Pop-Up does a monthly, I believe it's monthly, market series there. And I have been itching to participate in it. And I got in for this May market, which also, if you saw my last video, it's the week before Mother's Day. So if the weather holds out like it's looking at the moment, it'll be a gorgeous day. It's not crazy hot yet in North Carolina. We are starting to get there. So we have a bit of like spring rain still coming through, and some of the evening storms that come in when it's really hot during the day. We get thunder and lightning storms in the evenings. Very cool, but a little stressful when you're planning for an outdoor market because sometimes the forecast will show rain, but the rain is mostly in the evening. So fingers crossed that the weather holds out for this weekend. That's going to lead to this item that I think is perfect for this market. It's perfect for spring and summer. I mean, it's year-round perfect, but we, especially North Carolina, have a lot of bugs. I moved here from the California Bay Area, and we didn't have a lot there. I mean, we had a lot of like raccoons and outdoor critters, but like bugs, daddy long legs, and yeah, like black widows if you're hanging out in the back of a dark garden shed. But we didn't have like the stuff that there is here. One of the things that I love most about North Carolina bugs, it's a love-hate relationship. Fireflies. We have so many fireflies, especially in June. Again, when it's like starting to heat up, you just see your yard light up. We have some woods behind our house, and you can just see little like specks of light popping up in the woods. It's really cool. They just, if you're not familiar with fireflies, they're really slow. They do remind me of kind of that character in the Disney's Princess and the Frog movie. They're just kind of like slow and hovery, like they're like, hey, and then they go out and then they like just float. And when I used to run, I cannot tell you how many of them I've probably consumed because I would be running and they would like pop up right in front of my face and you don't see them until they light up. And then it's like, oh no. And but they're really cool. And yes, like catching fireflies, because they are very slow and kind of hover, you can kind of just clasp them, look at them, watch them light up in your hand, and then let them go. And so that's very much a thing here. Moving on to this item. This is just part of the whole thing. Watch this story unfold. This is a little firefly charm. So I have had these in my mystery boxes, but I've had them in a larger size. So this is fairly tiny. It's actually done in a very fine blanket yarn. And some of them are actually in a very fine velvet yarn. I have been trying to, I've seen a lot of people, especially I feel like in Europe, that use fine velvet yarn. And I always assume that like all velvet yarns must be fine and really thin. But then I ordered some Himalaya baby velvet, whatever it is. I was like, no, this is kind of the same as everything, like the other chenille yarns that I use. It's technically, it's not super bulky, but I think it's considered bulky. And, you know, they're saying that they're using 2mm hooks, and I'm like, I can't picture it. So I found a seller. I had to do a lot of digging to find a seller that I could order from the United States. Again, I could not really find a lot of options. Like I couldn't find a specific brand to call out, and I could have spent more time searching for it, but you know, it is what it is. I found a seller on Etsy, and they had a really quick turnaround, which was what I needed given the kind of timing of this. And they were able to get me both this fine blanket and fine velvet yarn. I will provide a link to their Etsy shop in the comments, but they went on vacation just as my order arrived. So I got it. I was like, I love this yarn. This is perfect. The blanket yarn in particular, we'll go into that. And then I went to order some more of it because I got a very limited amount, not knowing what I was getting. And they're on vacation until the beginning of May. So I have to wait to order more. And if you want to get some too, you'll just have to wait until they're back from vacation, unless you find another seller, which go for it. And if you have any recommendations of fine velvet and fine blanket yarn sellers, please let me know. But I'll do a comparison side by side in a minute, but let's get more into this product. So I made a little firefly. I made a little caterpillar, and these have like corresponding charms. So this one has a butterfly, this one has a leaf, and then I have a spider. These are all Poggy's Place patterns. I don't have a spider charm yet. It's coming. I should have it by end of day today or tomorrow. And what I'm doing with these is I'm putting them in these little insect kits that you can, it has a little magnifying glass and it has air holes on the sides, so you can catch a bug. I will have them, the little keychains in here. You can catch a bug. It has air holes to breathe, and then you can like take a look at it with your magnifying glass. There's also little tweezers, but what I did is I made little insect investigator kits. I will share a screenshot of what my tag looks like, but I made little tags that say insect investigator kits. It comes with a crocheted insect bag charm. I feel like bag charms are all the rage right now, just little plushies and stuff that you can dangle off the side of a bag. But it comes with a crocheted insect bag charm, observation container with magnifier and air holes, tweezers, and then I say catch your insect, take a look, and then set it free. So like perfect again for like fireflies. We have so many caterpillars, and I am terrified to touch the caterpillars here because we have a lot of those fuzzy ones, which I've heard can sting, but I'm not about to test that. Anyways, so I have a spider, a caterpillar, firefly, and I have a ladybug. I'm not completely set on my ladybug yet. This is actually the Dee Dee's Plushies pattern, which is great. I highly recommend it. I was just looking for something that didn't have a lot of sewing and that I could make in this like fine yarn that would fit within this. And I think I might try the Poggy's Place Ladybug pattern. I was just trying to not like have to sew on wings and things like that, but I feel like I'm kind of cranking these out to where I've got a system down. So I'm going to sell these because it comes with the tweezers and they don't attach in any way. I'm going to have these as little kits. I'm going to have a sign so people know what they are. And then I'll probably have like one of each insect out on the table so people can see what it is that they're getting. But I think these are going to be a hit, especially again, firefly season's coming up and we're going to be at an outdoor park with lots of nature trails. I think it just could be a cute little item for people to use like at that moment at the market. But then beyond that, I just think it's a great little addition to my booth. I believe I'm going to sell these for $10. The little charms are small, but that doesn't mean they take any less time than the larger versions. And then on top of that, they actually probably take a little bit more time because you're dealing with such a fine yarn. And then I'm putting the beads on, and all the beads are beads I had from my like Taylor Swift friendship making bracelet days. So they're really nice beads. They're glass beads. Again, really cute little charms in addition to that kind of coordinate with each item. But I just think it's a unique item to bring to my markets. I've been wanting something beyond the mystery boxes because I do feel like everyone has mystery boxes at this point, and what you put in them is completely different and can vary. But this, you would be able to pick out what bug you want. And I'm going to go heavy on, I think, the caterpillars and fireflies, just because fireflies being so popular right now. They're really cute. The charms, or the whole bag charm. And then the caterpillars, I don't know, I think they're cute. And I really like the butterfly clip that goes on to it. The ladybug and spider, I mean, I just don't like spiders, so that's why I don't want to make as many of them. But the pattern is great. Like, it actually is very fast for, I don't know, I've never made a spider pattern before, and I would have thought it would have taken a lot of time just kind of doing the legs and everything. But the Poggy's Place pattern is fantastic. And actually, of all of the things, it probably whips up the easiest besides the firefly. The ladybug, again, I'm just trying to find a pattern that is simple and fast to make. And right now, I don't have that. And so that's why I'll probably have a little less of the ladybugs. But I'm just trying to crank out as many of these as I possibly can. I also have a crazy work week this week. We have a lot of people in from out of town. I'm going to have to be downtown most of the week. So I'm just going to be limited in time. I think I've done enough prep for this market between the course of the last kind of 3-ish, 4 weeks that I've had from my last one, my previous market. So I should be in a good place. I always feel like I don't have enough, but I think I'll be fine, especially if I go heavy into like the smaller items. Let's get on to the next thing I'm really excited about for my booth. I may have ordered a thing. I ordered a Gachapon machine. These are super popular in Japan, and I am obsessed with them. We have some of them here now, especially in like our mall. Again, I mentioned, I think in one of my last videos, we have a store where I can get like my Labubus from, the little monster plushies that are blind. You don't know what you're getting when you get the box. And they have a ton of Gachapon machines just lined up on the wall of different things. And it's like Hello Kitty. It can be One Piece, just different anime things. It's very cute. And it's just basically one of those capsule machines that dispenses a capsule. You put in the coin, dispenses a capsule, and you open it and you get whatever you get. I know a lot of people use the claw machine at their booth. I have just personally never been a fan of a claw machine. I don't think I've ever won anything from a claw machine. And I know that when people do the claw machine, they do play till you win. But the thought of like sitting there as I watch someone try to grab something, and maybe it's far more easy than that, but it just seems like you have to have a very like specific placement of the items in order for people to be able to grab them. And then again, waiting for people to kind of catch the thing. This, you insert the token, spin the dial, your egg comes out and you open it up and you're going to have a treat. So I got that machine. I got it from Amazon. It was $100, like just under 100. So it wasn't cheap, but it feels comparable to like the decent claw machines that I've seen out there. And I think I'm going to get like a lot of bang for my buck with this. It holds quite a few of the eggs. I think it comes with nine of them. And then I purchased additional capsules to use. I'm also going to do a sign on the front that says, like, shows a picture of the 3 items that you could possibly get. I'll show you what those items are. And it'll be a random assortment, kind of however many I make of each, because it's kind of going to be that thing like, did you get each item, like random chances of getting something. They're all really cute. I'll show you. And I'm going to put a thing saying if you return your capsule, once you're done collecting the item, you'll get a free sticker or whatever. So I have enough capsules that if people want to keep it, then fine, they can. But ideally, I'd like to reuse them because they are kind of an odd shape. Let me show you what I have in terms of the capsules and the items to go inside my Gachapon machine. Because the Gachapon machine is more of a mystery box type vessel, I don't know what else to call it, but you know, you're going to get something random. You don't know what it's going to be. I wanted to limit the number of items that are going to be in it, and I wanted to keep them all in the same theme. And I wanted them to be very neutral. So what I did was a little duck with a crab hat, and it has a little rubber ducky charm on it in addition to the beads. Again, these are all bag charms. They can go in backpacks, bags, purses, zippers, whatever. A little duck with a frog hat and a rubber ducky charm. And then staying with the nautical, but I found some other duck hats that were like flowers or mushrooms or whatever, but I wanted kind of like that extra hard to get item, I guess. I'll just have probably less of them, and mainly because they just take a little bit longer to make. But a little turtle, and the turtle will have a turtle charm. They're just coming in tomorrow. So I'm gonna have 3 items, and they go into these little capsules that, again, they're like a little bigger than Easter egg capsules, but yeah, it just fits this little charm perfectly. And then the refill capsules that I have, they're different color bases, and it's a clear top, which I could pick between clear or solid, but I kind of like that you can see what's in them. So, you know, it fits perfectly. But when I originally had this idea, I thought that I could just make it with like a smaller hook size in Premier Parfait. And, you know, I did the like mental guess of the description says it's a 2-inch little egg that you're getting. I was like, oh, this will totally fit. Like, this is the Premier Parfait. It does not even come close to fitting. So when my machine came in and I took out the egg, I was like, uh-oh, I don't have anything that can fit that. So cue emergency order of this yarn, which again, it came within like 3 days of me ordering it. It came from Texas. This is the size difference between the Premier Parfait and this super fine blanket yarn. I used a 3.25 hook for this. I think a 3 would probably be ideal, but I didn't have a 3. I have since ordered one. But like it's half the size. So oops, thank goodness I didn't crank out a bunch of these, but I was able to order it quickly, see what was going to work and what wasn't, and realize my horrible mistake. And the same thing happened with the little insect kits. I was like, oh, I can use Premier. No, I can't. It's too big. And I could use non-blanket yarn, but I really do love the look and feel of blanket yarn, especially with bag charms, and so many are actual plush stuffed animals. I wanted it to feel more like a plush stuffed animal. And I think that this fine blanket yarn does the trick. Fine velvet yarn would be great too. I did make some things in that, but it does, I think, require a smaller hook. The order that I got of yarn actually came with a 2 millimeter hook, which I was like, oh, 2 millimeters, yikes. That was nice of them to throw that in. And yeah, it's because they want you to use that 2 millimeter hook. Like it's very much a 2 to maybe 2.5 for the fine blanket yarn. And I have never really enjoyed working with yarn that thin. If you've been around here, you probably know I used to do knitting quite frequently. And um, before I was doing plushies, I was doing blankets and scarves and things like that in crochet. And I've done some lace projects before, but I hate it. I feel like I'm like going cross-eyed as I'm looking at it, and I hunch up my shoulders and I get really tense and I tense my jaw. Um, so I constantly, as I'm working with this smaller yarn, have to like calm myself down, like relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw, because it's just so tiny, and I'm like trying so hard to look at it because I don't want to miss a stitch. And the fine blanket, I liked working with better than the fine velvet for that reason. It just felt a little less slippery. It was less prone to shed. I have a considerable amount of fine velvet yarn now just because of that initial order. And I only ordered like one skein of a few colors, but a skein of it is like quite a lot of yarn still because it's so small and it's like a normal size skein. Just one ball goes a long way. So I'm set for a while. I am going to get more of the blanket yarn as soon as that shop opens up, because that might be my new favorite thing for these little mini plushies. So my plans for the rest of this week for market prep, I'm just going to have to crank out a bunch of these. I'm feeling in an okay place with the insect investigator kits. I need to make a few more of the caterpillars and fireflies, and then just a couple more of the spiders and ladybugs. But I definitely need more for the Gachapon set because I got to fill up these eggs. I'm thinking that I will sell these like a token, and you put the token in the machine. You have to use the token for the machine, though apparently a quarter will work. I don't want to test that, and it's definitely worth more than a quarter. So I'm just going to put it closer to the register so that I can pull out a token anytime someone purchases one. They put it in and it automatically feeds into the back of the machine, so it's easy for me to just take that out and give it to the next person. But I think I'm going to do those at $7 because it is, again, time consuming to make these little guys. They might be small, but they still do take a bit of time. And then having the beads and the charms on it. So I feel like $7 is an okay spot. Originally I was thinking 6, but as I was trying to work on these, and it's just a very cumbersome process, I was leaning towards 8, and I decided I'm going to go for a happy medium and do 7. So I'm going to keep it at just the 3 items within. So it is a limited assortment. And then I mentioned previously in a different video that my mystery boxes, I had kind of expanded the amount of items I had in them. I'm going to scale that back and kind of go back to the original 5 or 6, just because I think it's too many choices, and if someone's like, I just really want a possum, them having a chance of getting a possum out of 10 items versus out of 5 or 6, it's more likely. And I think that'll draw people in to be more likely to buy those too if they're looking at that direction. So kind of got all of the bases covered between, the $7 of this, the $10 insect kit, and then a $10 mystery box. These insect kits themselves, I get from Amazon. When I ordered them, they came out to about $1 a piece. So if you're considering like MSRP, then let's consider it $2. And that's why that's $10 for the kit. The whole assembly, the little charm in, and all of that. They have, I noticed, gone up in price since I ordered them. I will include the link for the Amazon item within the What's Up Cupcake My Canva link that's in my description, so you can check them out there. I will have links to all of this stuff, the Gachapon machine, the refill capsules, the insect kits. All of that will be in the link within my description. The link in my description has the primary patterns that I use. If you ever go in there and are looking for something and can't find it, just send me a note or drop a comment, because I may have just forgotten to put it in there, or it might be listed under something else. Like if it's a bundle of patterns and I talked about one item from the bundle, and then I can just clarify which it is or add it to the file if I need to update it. It also has the details to my online shop, where I have stitch markers, safety eyes that are hand painted UV resin so you can wash them and they won't come out like paint ones might, and amigurumi sticks. So if you're sewing a bunch of things together, you have amigurumi sticks to help hold things in place. Another note for all of those little items. So I used a 3.25 hook, which worked fine for the fine blanket yarn. I would probably do 2.5 for the fine velvet, if not smaller, and 6mm safety eyes. The spiders had both 8 and 6 because it has multiple eyes on it. But I very rarely before this had used my 6mm eyes. I was thankful I even had them. But like this was their moment to shine, because I have started now finally going through all of my 6mm safety eyes for these little critters. In addition to all this, I did get a yarn haul because on the completely flip side, I wanted to make some jumbo items. I made one jumbo capybara last market and it sold pretty fast. It was $22 and it's the exact same as like my itty bitty capybara that I normally do that I think I sell for 10. But I just made it in the Premier Parfait XL. So I, of course, realized I didn't have enough of the colors to make the capybaras. So I ordered more of that. And then I also ordered pinks for Kirby's so I can make a large Kirby because I currently have a small Kirby on a swing buddy. So just kind of honing in on a few things like that that I think will be more of a draw at my market. You can also check out my Mother's Day market item video that I posted just before this one that has other items I will be bringing to this market this weekend. Another new thing that I'm bringing to the market this weekend, similar, just in the vein of like bag charms, but these little soot sprites on little clasps. These are Studio Ghibli inspired. They're the little like cleaning sprites that come in. They're in a handful of the movies from Studio Ghibli. I can't say it today. And I love them. They might be one of my favorite characters from that whole universe. And I used the Lion brand Feels Like Bliss. We are becoming besties. Me and Feels Like Bliss, we have finally got a thing going. And then I cut out little felt stars with a hole puncher that does star hole punches. I got a hole puncher that has 3 different sizes of stars and 3 different sizes of circles. The stars work fantastic. It's a little challenging, and I think part of it too is I have a felt that's a little stiffer, so I think that makes it doable. When I have tried to do it with like a softer felt, it can get jammed. The circles hole punch that I have will not work. It just refuses to work with the felt, and it's weird. It's the exact same hole puncher brand, style, everything. I cannot get the circle to work, but the star works great. And I just kind of sharpen it by using aluminum foil on it occasionally. So I have a few of these, and I will probably have kind of a Studio Ghibli section in my booth at this point because I have so many items from that universe. My kids and I have just been like cranking through them. We watched Ponyo this weekend. It was so cute. I think that might be, if I had to guess, like the favorite that we had as a family. But I think my favorite's still probably Totoro. I just think he's adorable. And he has these guys. So it's like best of both worlds. But I really have loved all of them that we watched so far. Spirited Away. And then what was the other one? Oh, Kiki. I love Kiki's delivery service, but I love the concept of like a little witch and black cat, and I have a black cat. So then I have the stress ball, the avocado stress ball. I should have at least 2 of these for my market. I usually have them, and I previously did them in Premier Chenille Basics, but this time I did it in Premier Parfait because I think that's actually the yarn that she recommends in her pattern itself, or like that's what she uses for her items. And so I made it in that. It's just softer. And honestly, because of the size, I was charging 22 for the larger ones. Excuse me. I was charging 22 for the larger ones, but I think I'll just do this at 20 because it is a little bit smaller, but the like softness is lovely. And the avocados were my number one seller of the stress balls that I had. I would love to have more stress balls in time for this market, but it's just not going to happen with everything else I'm trying to get done this week. This market that I have this upcoming weekend is my last market for the spring. And then I'm actually going to have a break from markets for a few months. And I'm just going to focus on prepping for the fall markets. I have applied for a large number at this point, but they all will notify a little. Sorry, that's my husband mowing the lawn. Good job. But also, could you not do it in front of my window? The company doesn't notify until like 2 months out from each market, which is a little stressful for holiday markets because I'd love to know what my lineup is just going into that season, since that's where I started and had the most success in general. You know, I don't know what my schedule looks like, but I have applied to at least 3 or 4 each month in October, November, and then early December. So we'll see what that looks like, but I'm just going to focus on preparing for those markets, building up my inventory so I'm not frantically trying to make things throughout the fall. It was also just really stressful with my day job, having to like be up super late each night after work because I was trying to get ready for the next market and I only had a week lead time or whatever that might look like. I'm going to hunker down in the summer to prepare for that, but May is a month that always had in like my sewing community. If you see my old blog, I used to sew, and every year I would participate in Me Made May. Me Made May. The purpose of it in sewing was like you spend a little bit of time every single day making something. You don't have to finish something, but you spend some time creating. So I made a tracker and I will share it on my Instagram. I'll see if I can put a link to in my description below for a little tracker that can go in your Instagram stories. But it's just something you can update every day. You can use it however you want. You can put a check that I did something today, crafty or creative. You can put in the number of items that you made in each spot. You can put in how much yarn you use, whatever you want to do. But I wanted a way to track that I am participating in Me Made May for the month of May. So I'm excited to participate in that, just starting, I think May 1st is Thursday or Friday. So if you want to also participate, I have the link in my description below, as well as on my Instagram. My Instagram is at What's Up Cupcake Crafts. I have at What's Up Cupcake too, but that's like my personal account where I spam family and friends with pictures of my family. What's Up Cupcake Crafts is separate, though, of course, this handle on YouTube is What's Up Cupcake. I think one of the last things I wanted to do for this video this week is do my creator shoutouts. So first up, Poggy's Place has been the MVP this week. All of her patterns have been perfect for these little keychain items. They are low sew, mostly just kind of weaving in ends from things. A lot is crochet surface stitching, and they just come up in the best format for what I'm trying to make with all of these things that I'm creating. Every time she releases a new bundle, I'm so excited to see what kind of creative take on a little item is going to be. So thank you, Poggy's Place, for all of these amazing patterns and creations that I have been able to hone in on for all of this market prep. There's so many things that I'm like picking from. There have been so many items I've been able to pick from to choose like what I'm going to put within my mystery boxes, or the little insect catchers, or the Gachapon machine. So I'm so thrilled with all of my options from Poggy's Place. I had to stop recording for a second because he is literally just like driving circles in this one spot right in front of my window. And I'm like ready to murder him. All right, he's leaving. The second shout out that I want to do is Looping Teddies. I love watching her YouTubes. She is based in Europe, and she does crochet plushies, but then she's just expanded into candle making too. And I've just enjoyed seeing her journey. She just got an amazing little space outside of her home that she has been able to use for her business specifically, just because she was so constrained in space at her home itself. And like watching the process of her building that space up, it's just been really fun to watch. And she's had 1 or 2 markets now that she's shared. She's had 1 or 2 markets now that she has shared since she kind of branched out her business, and they seem to be going fantastic. And I'm just really enjoying following her journey. So if you haven't checked out Looping Teddies, go check out her YouTube. I will have that one linked in the description as well. But you know, I just love watching some of these other creators, especially when I am crocheting. I did watch some TV this week, as well as I'm so close to finishing my book, Familiaris. It is like a 30+ hour book, but I have to get it back to the library in the next 2 days, so I need to finish it. But I did watch the $1 Million Challenge on Netflix, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but I'm so happy that the person who won. Did any of you watch that? What have you all been watching or reading this week while you have been crafting? Or like any recommendations of things to watch? Now that I finished that, I'm starting to watch some other shows that Netflix is recommending. I'm not sure that I'm crazy about any of what I've got right now on the queue from a TV perspective, so I would love a recommendation. I feel like we have all of the streaming services because my husband is a big TV series guy, so would love any recommendations. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I cannot wait to share the results of my market from this weekend, because I really do think that these items are going to be so much fun in drawing people in and just kind of catering to more people who might not want like a big stuffed animal, but something kind of more unique and different. Unique and different, same word. But yeah, like and subscribe if you would like to follow along for more content and see the updates on my market results. I may or may not do one more market prep video for this market. I have so much inventory right now. Oh, and one thing about this market, they don't allow tents unless it's going to rain. So if rain is in the forecast, then you can bring a tent, but otherwise no tents are allowed. So I haven't done that before, aside from like an indoor market, but in that case I only have a table. So I might need to do a run through of my setup, because I usually do rely on being able to hang some things up. But they also provide a 6-foot table, so I can just bring a couple of my own. I don't know, I need to play around with that layout. So maybe I'll do one more video in advance of this market, because I'm going to have to be very thoughtful about the layout of my booth and figuring out what items I'm going to bring, especially as this is my last spring market. I'd like to do kind of an inventory of what I have going into this market, so that I can be thoughtful about how I'm replenishing over the summer into my fall markets. So a lot of fun videos coming up. I also have a new kind of special video that I'm working on, just focusing on one topic, similar to the Mother's Day topic. You might have gotten some hints from this, or maybe my Instagram, of what that could be, but stay tuned and follow along if you would like to continue on this journey with me. Thank you, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Bye.